Hello, my name is Maria. I am CPO at JudgeAI, and today I'm happy to introduce our demo version, and I will be guiding you through the stages of our automated litigation process. Just to give you the context, today we are looking into the case when the electrical cable was damaged by someone during some digging works, and the person asking for compensation says that the person they are suing is actually the one who caused the damage. However, the person being sued says that someone else is responsible for that. So let us have a look at how Judge AI processes this case, and here we go. In the first stage, the statement of claim is analyzed for its formal conditional validity. This means that Judge I checks whether the statement of claim, assuming all the facts presented are true, can be considered valid. Even if assuming the truth of all plaintiff's assertions, the evidence and reasoning are insufficient and the statement of claim does not meet the prima facie standard of proof, it is automatically rejected. In most cases, of course, the statement of claim is formally valid. This stage is necessary to filter out obviously unfounded claims when the party cannot provide primary evidence for the claim, or if the claim is not supported by the terms of the contract and other evidence. Next, Judge AI invites the claimant to provide evidence to support their claim. This evidence is then analyzed to extract the primary evidence, which is fundamental to the case. The maximum amount of objective information is extracted from this evidence without any assessment of the validity of the claimant's claim. This evidence is created based on its objective strength. Weak evidence is that which depends on one party's assertion. Moderate evidence is that which depends on the will of two or more parties, such documents signed by both parties to a contract. Strong evidence is that which objectively records information such as video recordings, expert reports, photographs, and publicly available documents. After this, the respondent is invited to present their objections to the claims. The respondent's objections are analyzed for their formal validity. Assuming that all the respondent's statements are absolutely true, it is analyzed whether such objections can affect the satisfaction of the claims. In most cases, the respondents provide formally valid objections, and at this stage, it is also important to filter out cases where there are no objectively substantiated claims or objectively substantiated objections. For example, if the claimant seeks to recover a debt under a loan agreement and the respondent argues that they are in a difficult financial situation or cannot repay the money due to job loss, such an objection does not affect the satisfaction of the claims and is not a substantiative objection. Thus, we can make a decision at this stage without proceeding to the next. However, if the respondent objects to the substance of the claims, for example, by stating that they did not cause property damage to the claimant and that another person damaged the cable, such objections must be considered more carefully as they indicate the absence of the respondent's fault in the damage to the property. In the next stage, if the respondent's objections are found to be formally valid, they are invited to provide evidence to support their positions. This evidence is analyzed in the same way as the claimant's evidence. The primary objective information is extracted from this evidence without any assessment of its validity. This evidence is also graded based on its objective strength. Weak evidence is that which depends on the party's assertion. Moderate evidence is that which depends on the will of two or more parties, such as documents signed by both parties to a contract. Strong evidence is that which objectively records information such as video recordings, expert reports, photographs, and publicly available information. After this, the claimant, having reviewed the respondent's objections, is invited to provide any explanations or additional evidence. This stage is optional for the claimant. They may choose not to provide any new evidence or explanations. However, the claimant has the right to provide additional explanations or evidence after reviewing the respondent's objections if they deem it necessary. In the next stage, in accordance with the principle of adversarial proceedings, the respondent is invited to provide their explanations. These can be explanations in response to the claimant's explanations or simply additional comments on their position. Similar to the previous stage, this stage is optional for the respondent. They may choose to provide additional explanations or not. The respondent acts as they see fit. Of course, at both stages, the information provided by the parties is analyzed and extracted. Next comes the preparatory stage of evidence evaluation. The primary evidence and facts referenced by the claimant and the respondent to support their claims or objections are analyzed for any contradictions. JudgeAI determines whether the evidence contradicts the facts it aims to support. If there are no contradictions, both facts are considered further. However, if contradictions exist between the facts, a cross evaluation of evidence is conducted. It is assessed whether the respondent's evidence is at least indirectly supported by the claimant's evidence, and vice versa, whether the claimant's primary evidence is supported by the respondent's evidence. Through this complex analysis, the algorithm identifies the fact that is more substantiated at the moment. Consequently, contradicting facts are not considered in the decision making process. In the next stage, the main evaluation of the party's evidence takes place. The evidence is analyzed to determine which direct facts it establishes and which indirect facts it can confirm. Through a multi step analysis, including tools such as additional fact generation and contradiction detection, a chronology of legally significant events relevant to the case is reconstructed. This process allows us to determine how the parties and third parties acted from the moment the legal relationship between them arose until the filing of the claim. Next, an ideal model of the party's behavior is constructed in accordance with the terms of the contract using Nash equilibrium, general principles of law, and business customs applicable to the specific dispute. The main goal of the contract is determined, and if additional conditions are not initially specified in the contract, they are supplemented. As a result, a chronology of the ideal behavior of the parties is formed. This chronology shows how the parties should have acted if they were fully reasonable and acting in good faith within the framework of the legal relationship in question. In the final stage, there are two main scenarios, how the parties actually behaved and how they should have ideally behaved. These two scenarios are compared. All deviations of the real behavior from the ideal behavior are identified in this stage. These deviations are analyzed for the impact on the terms of the contract. It is assessed whether the damage from these deviations can be quantified and the presence of alternative strategies available to the parties under the existing conditions is considered, analyzed within the framework of Nash equilibrium. The severity of violations is then evaluated, and based on this analysis, a decision is made on the case. The claims may be fully satisfied, partially satisfied, or denied. Following this, the complete text of the court decision is generated.